Namaste, Assalamu alaikum, Shalom, Ni hao, Buenos dias, Buenos tardes, Sessache, Aquaba, Welcome. What up, though? This is Café Melange. Week numero 3, session numero 2. How you doing, bro? All right. So, got a few minutes. Starting a little late, a wee bit late, and got the other joint to do as well. Again, consider a number of things to share. One thing I think I'm going to share, but the extent of it gets a little bit proclamatory and thus controversial, and so I intend to abstain from delving into that element of it, because it's increasingly about it's showy. It's increasingly showy. It's purposeful, but it's showy, and given the environment I'm in at the moment, being increasingly prudent on the showy part. So I'll just say it this way. Trying to think if it works without the showy, because again, the showy is purposeful. Just say it like this: it is a welcome guide to immigrants of settler society. And it is somewhat of a roadmap, like this. If you want to make it big in policy and law, it's the land of the Potomac, Washington, D.C. If you want to make it big in industry, it is the land of the hot and the sunny, New York, the Big Apple. If you want to make it big in the books, in academia, it is the further land of the Mohawk, Boston. You want to make it big in tech, it is the land of the Oleone, and the Paiute, the Bay Area. You want to make it big as a celebrity, it's the land of the Tongva, Paiute, La La Land, LA, Los Angeles, Hollywood. You want to make it big in the spirituality, in the religion. You come here to the Cuyahoga. We ain't shit. We ain't never gonna be shit. That is a humble proclamation. That is an affirmation simultaneously. It's also a reference. The point is, this is the heartland. And it is here where the future is decided. Humble affirmation and truth on a number of levels. What does it have to do with Melange? It has to do with the earth. Melange has to do with earth and harmony and reconciliation, and particularly on this land.
Back out of here. Do you know where the west entrance is? Is it right over here?
The west entrance.
Yeah.
This would be likely the west entrance. Yes,
Like
there's
right
entrance
here?
right there. Yeah.
Is there a ramp maybe?
I don't think you need a ramp. It's level.
Well, oh, okay.
So, levels, harmony, reconciliation. That is the environment, the most conducive environment for Melange to thrive and prosper. Does it work out? Yeah, all right. That's the environment where Melange thrives and prospers. And that is the environment that Melange has a vested interest in cultivating and strengthening. So we are all enveloped in our own endeavors, in our own occupations, preoccupations, post-occupations, and additionally. Amidst all this and the migrations herein, it's beneficial to have an idea of what people are looking for when they go from place to place and when they settle in a specific place. What the strengths of that place are, what the nature, what the focus, what the concentration, what the conversation is within each of these places. And how to connect with those conversations, with those occupations, and share positivity, encouragement, affirmation, knowledge of self, and additionally, where people are. So, the different places that I mentioned on this land, on this continent, those are hubs for that type of activity, that type of venture. Now, obviously, there are additional ventures that are going on in a number of different places, but even those ventures have a certain connection and awareness, lightweight acquiescence to the focal point of each of those, the focal occupation, the focal endeavor, the focal ventures within each of those metropolitan areas. And to be honest, I'll say like some of it, where that comes from, right? Where this notion comes from. Recent thought is that I was thinking about New York, how many people live there. I was thinking about lange population, over 100 million, and like what how can people get in a sense of how many people that is, how big that is? We can say it's as big as Japan, it's as big as Mexico or Russia, but still, like, how big is that? And particularly when a large population is spread over a large area, it's like, okay, but I don't know what that feels like to be like that. And then even like in a place like this in the United States, 300 million. Okay, that sounds like a lot of people, but it's a big area. So I just know the place where I live. So when we think about a city, if the city has 1 million people, okay, if it has 10 million people, okay, now I'm starting to feel it. So if you think about a population of 100 million people, that's like 10 cities right next to each other in that kind of proximity. And then if we think about like China with 1.34 billion people in a smaller geographic area, then we can feel the increased intensity, particularly in highly populated areas. Of getting a sense of what that feels like, how many people that feels like. And then also, when we have that sense of that feeling, also the activity, the relationships, the interaction, the anxiety, the stress, the excitement, the temptation, the indulgences, the oppression, the subordination and subjugation and triumph and all that other stuff. When we look at the coastal areas of this land, of this continent, the East Coast and the West Coast, high concentration of people, particularly further to the north, particularly on the East Coast. And there's a lot of people, there's a lot of migration, there are a lot of people from different lands that make stops there. And here, in the middle part, the flyover states, the population is less dense, is less intense for the most part. There are places in big cities and stuff like that, but for the most part, it's increasingly spread out. There's additional amount of room for people to have space with each other, and there are benefits and challenges with that. So it's all about the notion of community and getting a feel for what the numbers are saying to us. And how we translate that in our experience. So, again, when thinking about big cities, thinking about the populations. Hi, it's not Sri Call. How you doing, brother?
Good. I'm running late.
Yeah.
I'm sitting outside.
Hey, it's a beautiful day, isn't it? Yeah. You got to think about it.
Yeah.
To be honest, there's sound in there. I'm doing a recording,
okay.
and so there's sound there, and so kind of. No, you're fine. That's fine. There's sound. The music is going on, so sometimes it's difficult to get the recording going. So I'm just here. So do I look put out like I'm on the floor and like whoa yeah. Nah. Come on, brother. You know what I'm doing? I'm doing this lange style. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright,
So,
it's
how's the
nice
semester
seeing
going
you.
for you? Yeah, it's blessings to you.
It's been a little busy because of the graduate school applications. So
Okay.
I'm applying to PhD programs in physics. Yeah, so that's taking a lot of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. It's nice
Yeah,
seeing
yeah.
you.
Well, maybe we'll catch up at some time
Yeah, of
soon. God
course.
willing.
Yeah. All right.
So, love and peace.
Bye.
Um, so yeah, it's a matter of getting a feel for the numbers, a tangible feel for what the numbers are, um, and uh, our approach accordingly. So I mentioned like the different cities, and in the different cities have like different concentrations. A lot of big institutions, corporations are headquartered in certain cities, and so whatever that the nature of the work is of that corporation is, people tend to be focused on that. Um, uh, and anyways, this is this is this is middle ground, um, and I did actually share the uh, the showy stuff as I was in it because that's what it called for. And I'm not going to get into it all at the moment because I'm wrapping this up. But the notion about not being shite and not ever being shite, first of all, if you look at the slang, it's like it has a way of proclaiming something but also denying it simultaneously. So we ain't shit. I don't know how about that. But simultaneously, we are shit. Perhaps increasingly accurately, we're full of shit. And I don't mean to be snarky with my utilization of profanity, but that's just part of the language I utilize. Um, and it's a matter of being intentional in how I utilize it. But that proclamation, with all the things considered, is a proclamation of humility. It's not a proclamation of nihilism. It's a proclamation of affirmation. It's an affirmation, it's a proclamation of humility. And it's from that, through that humility, through that affirmation, that simultaneous, that balance, mindfulness and awareness that we have, that we are focused on our purposefulness and recognizing what's important because um, we have the knowledge of things greater than us, and thus each of us individually is a peon in comparison to those great things that we are contributing to and that we're dedicated to. So it's part of that recognition. And then also we look at the different traditions of humanity and talking about emerging from affliction and atrocities and oblivion. How about that? What benevolence can come out of Bethlehem? And additionally, so um, uh, cats like to sleep on this area, and so it's exactly in the midst where dreams awake. So that's what we're talking about. That's the industry that we are in, that we cultivate, that we share, that we belong to, and being mélanger. It's a matter of being mindful of that uh, and connecting accordingly. So, with that being said, namaste, assalamu alaikum, shalom, zaijian, adios, te chagriza, sebina asbuwo, kila ufred, love and peace.